AI headshots is a thing, right? There's plenty of platforms out there where you can upload photos of yourself and create some AI versions of LinkedIn headshots or team photos and that sort of thing. You can do it for whole companies, or you can just do it as an individual. So I checked out a few of these things, and I thought I'd do a quick comparison of the pros and the cons of doing an AI headshot shoot and creating a bunch of AI headshots versus using a photographer to create headshots for you in a traditional way using a camera and a real person. I've actually played around with one or two of the AI models myself and actually got some results that I'm actually happy with. I guess because I'm a bit of a perfectionist, I used really good photos of myself to start with, which were well lit, and then modified the model quite a bit, created my own specific model based on my photos, then took the photos into my editing software, Photoshop and Lightroom, and made some tweaks myself. And I was actually quite happy with the pictures. But you may not want to do that, and there are loads of good options. So let's sort of talk about the main benefits of doing an AI shoot for a company. It's kind of touted as being cheaper. So I think I've seen prices of around £45 per person, which seems pretty cheap, and it's a time saving. So the people don't have to come into the studio. I think that is definitely a benefit if you've got a small number of people, because they can each upload their photos to the platform. They can all create a decent headshot of themselves, and then you'll get a nice team bunch of headshots for 5 or 6 people. But the economies of scale that you get when you use a photographer to come in for the day. I've recently shot headshots for a company, a client of mine, and I shot, I think, 60 headshots in around 5 hours. And the actual price of that worked out to be £19 per person versus £45 per person if you use an AI platform. So actually, if you've got a whole bunch of people, a large number of people, actually doing an AI headshot shoot is more expensive than using a real photographer who's quick and efficient. And here's a bunch of the pictures that I shot, really nice professional headshots. If you are just one person and you don't want to travel to a studio and invest the time and the money in that, probably an AI headshot is a cheaper option for you and probably will take less time, but you have to decide whether or not you're happy with getting not a real version of you, but a computer or a large language model version of yourself done like that. The other thing we need to think about is the environmental impact. So, I mean, I don't know, we read all sorts of stats about the amount of water and electricity it uses to create videos and photos using AI models. And it can be huge. So you think if you're doing that for 50, 60, 100 people, what is the environmental cost of doing that? Whereas shooting people on your office, at your office, is going to have a less of an environmental impact. And I think also time-wise, I mean, I think, you know, if you're getting your team to upload photos of themselves to you, to manage the process, to upload to an AI model, all of your team is going to spend 10, 20 minutes looking for the best photos. Whoever's managing the process is going to spend time uploading those photos and then sifting through them and sorting and managing the whole process. Whereas if you get a professional photographer in who's quite experienced and efficient, literally they're going to come set up half an hour, and then people are literally going to take 10 minutes of their time to come in and get a really good shot taken and then going to go away, and it's literally 10 minutes. I think that is actually a more efficient approach, especially if you've got a whole bunch of people. And then we also need to maybe think about copyright and ethical concerns. I mean, who owns the copyright of images created by computers? Do you want to make sure that you own it and you make sure that no photographer or artist has been ripped off using their style of their photos? If you use a real photographer, you'll definitely get agreement that you can use the photos as you want and you get a full usage rights to those images and that they're definitely yours. So in summary, this is what I think. I think AI models are really good. I think they can be good for small numbers of people if they don't want to make a journey into a studio, and you probably can create your own model. Probably in some instances it can be cheaper to use AI models, but you get the environmental downside of that, and you also potentially get issues with copyright and usage rights and that sort of thing. You also get the fact that it's not 100% a picture of that person. You know, it will look like them, but does that matter to you or to people or to your customers and clients that it's not actually them, it's a computer-generated image? Only you can decide that. I think the benefits of using a real photographer are when you've got a large number of people, it's definitely cheaper and it definitely takes less time because the economies of scale happen. I can shoot 60 headshots for around £19 a person, so that's actually much cheaper than any AI model, and I can also do it faster than it actually takes for any AI model, and you get a real picture of that person. So those are the pros and the cons. only you can decide whether AI versus real photography is right for your company, but think about cost per person, environmental impact, realisticness of the photos, and those things, and then decide which is the best way to go. And if you need some headshots, give me a shout and I can give you a quote for the number of people you've got, and then you can compare whether you want to go for an actual photographer or whether you want to go for an AI version of your people.